Welcome back to the channel, Nomadic Sober. Appreciate everybody for coming out. You already know we're the Nomadic run to 1,000 subs, so be sure to run down on that button right fast and subscribe. So definitely appreciate the emails, and so early in the game we've been rocking on this channel. I say a little over 2 weeks, maybe 3. So I'm going to start with 3 of the most questions I've been asked, right? Let's line it up. Number 3, are there any big chain grocery stores in Merida? The answer is yes, there are, and I can tell you this because I personally have shopped at all of them. That was a thing for me too when I first got here. Of course, I knew there was a Walmart, even if I've never been to Mexico before. Walmarts are pretty much, all over the world and pretty much in all the countries that I have been to. I've seen a Walmart. Whether it's the supersize style Walmart like in the States or the smaller neighborhood, the express size where, they have most things but not all things. The Walmarts here sell motorcycles, which is, unheard of in the States, right? But that's not the reason why I bring up Walmart. For me, Walmart is like one big convenience store where many people shop. Only if it's something I need or want. When Costco isn't open, I run over to a Walmart, but it's not a general stop and shop for me, but for some it is, right? So, okay, here in Merida, there's Costco, of course, which has to be my favorite place to shop, right? There's one here and it carries a few different things, from the ones in the States. Like for instance here, in this Costco, you won't find the sheet cakes that you will find in the States. The ones for like birthdays and, the ones for like celebrations and stuff like that. Those they don't have here. But this Costco here makes its own donuts, right? Which is pretty dope. I didn't see that in any other Costco in the States, which is different, right? I've been a member at Costco for over a decade, right? Black card member, right? I've been to them in several different states, in North America, both coasts, East and West, and other countries, also. And since I've been here, I've pretty much gotten every single appliance that I need to live here in Merida from there, right? Having a black card allows you to get 2% back versus the other cards, you get nothing, right? And yes, your card will work here, so you won't have to get a new card. I don't think that. The prices are pretty much the same. It's just in pesos, the same Kirkland signature brand is here. And there's also some really good Mexico brands as well. This Costco is like, I'll say 10 to 15 minutes from like Centro on Paseo Montejo. It's a little further north, near most of the shopping centers right in the north. There's also Soriana, which is a nice shopping place. They have Soriana Hyper, Soriana Super, and the difference is size, right? So the bigger the store, the more the items, right? There are pretty much all, these places are pretty much all over Merida. There's also one just a little bit above Central, maybe about 5 minutes like outside of Central, right? From like the Fiesta Hotel, if you know where that's at. There's also Chudari, right? Which is, basically my close second to Costco. They have a lot of specialty items there and a really good selection of spirits, alcohol, beer. It's a huge store. It has a bakery, a really broad selection of, produce, fruit. There's a fresh Nopales station there. There's clothes. This one is near the Costco. In fact, it's like right next door to Costco. It's called Selecto Chudari, right? You can get, Lego My Egos there. They have the Beyond and Morningstar vegan line. Those type of options if you're into that. They have a really nice cheese station that reminds me kind of like, the ones that you will see in like Whole Foods in the state, or like, Stew Leonard's, if you're familiar with that. There's also Aki, Super Aki, which is a nice place to shop. Again, Aki and Super Aki are different in size. And by the way, all of these grocery stores have pharmacies. Dope, right? Number 2, are there any vegan / vegetarian eateries in Merida? There's quite a few, believe it or not. And although, this is Mexico, the pig is king here, right? Hands down, and chicken and beef placed like after pork, right? There are some hidden gems here. Let me see, there's one called 100% Natural. There's McCann Kitchen Pensiones. There's McCann Kitchen in Centro. But, the really good ones have closed sadly, and most are just vegan or, vegetarian friendly, right? And that doesn't translate well, to those, who have a restrictive diet, right? I think it'd be very good while before, that kind of business is booming here. It's just not a thing here in Mexico like in the States. I mean, let's be real, any place that offers hamburgers, hot dogs, but has a veggie burger, on the menu is not vegan dining. At least for me, it's not, right? But if you're like me, there's tons of fruits, tons of vegetable stands, and markets all over Merida for you to go vegan veggie crates in the kitchen. There's markets that have black beans in a pod. I thought that was dope. That's something I never saw before in the States. That you can buy as far as restaurants. Most of them, just have the option, these choices are limited, honestly, right? I starved for the first week, 2 weeks, as soon as I got, as I got here. But, I managed eventually, but, the food is definitely an adjustment, but if you give yourself some time, and, hit the streets a little bit, you'll find eventually what you're looking for. Okay, number one, the internet, right? The internet is number one, and rightfully so, So especially if you work in remote, and, most expats do. And some of you who may, just like to visit are going to, rely heavily on the internet, right? I'd say about 97% of my business relies on Wi-Fi. These are the things that I need. I need air conditioning, and Wi-Fi, right? Food probably comes like fourth, right? It tops the list as far as luxury is concerned living here in Mexico. I mean, how else are you to earn your leisure? There were a time, or two, where either the internet went out in the process of me doing something, on the internet, or where I woke up, and it was down, right? But for me, for the most part, I'm still pretty much able to work from my phone, fortunately. I remember backpacking in Belize and I dropped my phone ziplining. I was able to retrieve it with some help from the locals and, the Find Me app. But when I got it back, I had the black screen of death. The screen was like blank. I couldn't see nothing. But that's another video though. I mean, it still has that blank look to this day, until I get to an Apple store in the States to have it fixed. Nevertheless, if any of you know anyone capable here, drop it in the comments. I'll definitely check them out. I'm still locked out of certain, accounts because I didn't put a recovery count on that phone. Frustrated, but like I was saying, so you're going to experience outages here, right? That just is what it is. The parent company here is Telmex, and I don't care what you hear or what you may have heard about these other so-called, high-speed internet subsidiaries, right? They're just that, subsidiaries, colorful ads and, high-speed jargon, right? They're more like cable companies, more than anything. And it's been years since I watched TV, right? I went with a projector. It's just easier, more convenient to move versus a screen. But I think that, with all the cell phones on Telmex system, it becomes problematic for those who need it, need more than a local phone, right, with a prepaid plan. Which the majority here, thus the system becomes overloaded with cell phones coupled with the intense heat and high winds here in the jungle. And Merida is built, where the jungle once was, and still is, regardless of where you live, or how developed the area is. I thought that within the Periferico, the perimeter, it would be a little better just based off the density of housing and businesses there, but that wasn't the case. I mean, Telmex has done a great job of, keeping people, here connected through cell phones, and the system here is not as advanced as, say a system in the U.S., right? Which is why I opted for Starlink. Yes, Starlink. And although not, available everywhere in Mexico, it is in Merida. Shout out to Elon Musk for that. Starlink for me was, an investment that pretty much paid for itself. It's very easy to set up, not at all complicated, and you can take it with you. So, Starlink is definitely an option. Starlink, what you need to do is, all right, this is what you do. So you go onto the website, before you place your order, you go to www.starlink.com, and you go to location, you put yours to see if it's available in the location that you're at, right, in Mexico. There's some really remote areas, so it's not available everywhere in Mexico, but most places in Mexico it is. But again, you put your location, and once you see a light up on the map, it's a green light, right? You're definitely good to go. I didn't watch any videos on it. I just knew it was official after, seeing that the system was sent to, I think it was the Ukraine, so they could have internet, right? And I just had it in my mind that, I was getting it, although, I would give Telmex a chance. So after you order, I think I paid like 3 and change for the hardware, light money considering the benefits, and it's like $110 a month, right? So it will come to you in about 5 to 7 business days. Me personally, I was thirsty to set it up, so I didn't think of, doing a video on it. Anyway, it comes in like big oversized sneaker box, and it took about 15 minutes to set up. Now you want to have a clear view of the sky, right? At least the satellite, needs to see, needs to have a clear view of the sky to locate, Starlink satellites. So if you're in, say, like apartment building, maybe you can put it on your terrace, providing you have one. Then again, it may depend on which direction, you're facing. I tried putting mine inside the gate, but that became a little fuzzy. So I just had it mounted on the roof, and it's been popping, and been popping ever since, right? If you're renting here, like most people, most of the expats, you might want to check with the property owner or the agency you're renting from, just to see if they have any discrepancies with this, right? But if you live in like an open field with no neighbors, you're definitely good to go. But then you have the winds that will probably more than likely knock it over. So mounting, is a better idea. I'm just saying, right? But don't believe the hype about this high-speed internet company or that one. It's exactly what it is. It's all hype. Starlink is exactly that. And for me, I'm always in space, never in the same place, right? So that concludes basically another video. Hope you enjoyed the content. I have a palm tree breeze to catch. Until next time, we're Nomadic runs to 1,000 subs. Let's run it up. You already know. Nomadic Sobro with the info.